Welcome to Snipisode 24 of the Daily Dose of DMC podcast. Today is Thursday, February 2nd, 2023, and I'm your host, HK. Good morning, all you beautiful people, and welcome back to another Daily Dose this morning. We kickstart every morning with positivity, spurring some thought to transform our minds to positivity together in this conversation that we're having. Today, I want to talk to you guys about time management, about priorities, about mastering those priorities. And I know there's a lot out there, but it kind of ties in very well into my weekly program. We kicked off with the mayonnaise jar and those stories. We talked about strategically innovating yourself, and my apologies. Two people pointed out that the audio on that was fairly bad. I didn't go back and redo them. It's been a busy week, but I want you guys to know that we'll cover that again from a different angle. Yesterday, we talked about the importance of sleep and how I approach that a little bit. I'm not the greatest example, but just to spur some thought on that. Today, that ties in nicely with time management, and my notes are packed, so I just want to go through this on a high level as quick as possible, but sharing my experience and the way I do things. And to kick that off, let's just go, what is time management? Especially for you younger folks out there. Time management is the process of planning and organizing how to allocate time effectively and efficiently to achieve specific goals or objectives. That's it. That's time management. So when you hear that terminology at work or in school or wherever you hear that, that's what it is. Now, what's the importance of time management versus the purpose? Well, the importance of time management is you need to understand that time is a finite resource, and you hear me say that a lot. I truly believe that one of our most valuable assets in life is time, and we need to understand that concept. It sounds simple, but you got to understand it, because once it's gone, it's gone. You can't regain time. And that means you need to manage your time effectively, because what that's going to do when you recognize the importance of time management, it's going to increase your productivity, it's going to reduce your stress, you're going to improve the quality of your work, it's going to improve the quality of your personal life. Those are things I really believe happen when you understand the importance of time. Now, the purpose of time management is to help you as an individual maximize the use of that time so that you can learn to reduce those time-wasting activities, and so that you, like I said, you increase and improve your overall productivity. And what's that going to lead to? That is going to lead to satisfaction, and satisfaction leads to positivity in our heads because we know we are accomplishing things and making progress. So how do we go about doing that? First, we got to look at setting priorities. Yeah, and in my list, I've got a couple things. First, you got to understand, like I said, the value of time. To effectively manage your time, you need to understand the importance and the value of time. And you need to recognize, like I said, I know it sounds like a simple concept, but go through it, learn it, chew it through, really ingrain that in your mind, in your body, in your soul, in your heart, and recognize that it's a finite resource. Number two is you need to identify high priority tasks. Those are the tasks that are most important and require immediate attention. When you understand how to identify those things, those tasks, those are the ones in your time management plan that you're going to give high priority to. And now you're going to say, Herman, yeah, but how do I do that? I'm overloaded. I got a lot to do in work, or I got to study for a lot of exams, or my boss keeps sending me things that's important for them. Well, here's a couple things that you can do. This is the way that I do it to identify high priority tasks. I'm just going to fly through these for the sake of time, but I've split them into two groups. The first group is 1, 2, 3. The first one being urgency and importance. So once you consider the urgency of a task and its importance in relations to your personal goals and objectives, that is going to be considered high priority. That is for me the cream, the cherry on top on how to identify high priority tasks. Number two is deadlines. Tasks with those with deadlines approaching, for example, in a project that you have or whatnot, those should be considered high priority next. The closer you are to that deadline, the higher the priority. And this goes back to procrastination, what we discussed. Don't let procrastination get in your way, because if you do that, then that deadline is going to keep coming closer and closer, whether you're studying for an exam, have a paper due, have a project due, something for work, whatever that is not time management. That is just procrastination, and that's just doing things wrong. Thirdly, consequences. So to me, when I look at tasks and I evaluate them according to their urgency and importance, and then the deadlines, and then I look at the consequence of not completing that task. So if a task has a significant consequence, such, you miss an opportunity for a business deal or whatnot, or it incurs some kind of financial loss, those need to be considered high priority. Those are my top three that I work through and I chew through on a daily basis as I'm kind of creating my time management plan. And then the second three are basically goals and objectives. So how do I consider those tasks that I need to get done? How do they align with my personal goals and objectives? And how does that support my long-term goals and objectives? That's what I need to consider then as I'm working and chewing through tasks. Next is my energy level. So tasks that require a lot of energy and a lot of focus, I typically schedule for times when I'm feeling most alert. Typically for me, that's morning hours or late evening hours. As you guys know from my circadian cycle and my sleeping pattern, that's when I focus and really get things done. And that's my fifth way of identifying high priority. Last, it's delegating. If you're in that position, I come from management. If you are in that position, delegate tasks. Consider delegating them. That are those things that are probably not as important to you, maybe important to others, or somebody else, like somebody more junior can learn. Helps you free up your time and focus on your high priority tasks. But that doesn't mean you just throw everything away. I know people who do that as well, and I've had bosses who do that as well. So those are my 6 methods to identify high priority tasks. And it's important to note that throughout the course of a day, even for myself, priorities change. They consistently change. And it's important that you regularly review. And I do that. I go through my lists several times a day and just quickly adjust depending on time or things I need to do or something that's sporadic that pops up, etc. And I just regularly review, and that's what you got to do as well. And you'll learn to get better and quicker at it as the more frequently you do it. And how do you do it? I use a to-do list. So create a to-do list is next on my list in regards to setting priorities. Not everyone agrees with this. Everyone does it differently, but that's what I do. I think to-do lists are helpful tools for organizing and prioritizing tasks. I use a tool called Todoist in both my private and professional life. Helps me really manage my things. I'm not promoting it here. I'm just saying what I do. Everybody does it differently. And ultimately, you got to allocate time for each task when it comes to setting priorities. You need to know how much time to block for each task to make sure that you can complete those tasks. Maybe you do them in blocks or chunks, etc. So that is all about setting priorities. Next is avoiding distractions. First of all, you got to identify distractions. That can be anything. That can be interruptions. That can be procrastination. That can be distractions by technology. Bing, your phone goes on. So this is where I always try to find a balance. Sometimes I put my phone on silent. After I've gone through my tasks early in the morning, I get up and I do my things, I do my ritual, and then I sit down, review my things, and then I put my phone on mute, and then I get like tons of WhatsApp messages and Signal messages or emails and whatnot, and people are like, okay, well, he hasn't written back to me in like a day or two. That's because sometimes I'm on my phone a lot, but if I don't open a specific app, I don't know things are there, and I've conditioned myself not to be distracted by technology. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Don't take offense, if we're in contact, and that's how it is. 2 is setting boundaries. You got to set boundaries. Like I said, turning off those notifications, minimizing distractions just to increase your overall productivity, and that means talking to people. Like my wife knows, like I say, okay, I got to go do something. This is what needs to get done, and vice versa as well. So number 3 is staying focused on the task. Don't get distracted. If a task is essential, don't get distracted. Maintain productivity while you're doing that task. Don't say, what's the price of Bitcoin today? Just focus on what you're doing. And that's how you minimize interruptions. Very logical, There's a lot of other things you can do, like headphones and closing the door and whatnot. But those are the things you need to know in regards to avoiding distractions. And then a couple of time-saving techniques from my end. This is how I kind of work. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you. First is batch processing is what I call. So batch processing is just I put a lot of tasks together and I complete them in a single session. When I say, like I said, early mornings or late evenings when I can get things done, and I just go tuck, 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 tuck. And that just helps me save time and increases my productivity. Especially like quick wins and those kind of things, depending how you organize your day and your schedule. Second, I delegate. So I can delegate certain things to certain people, and that helps me save time and increases my productivity. And I only delegate things that I know people are capable of and trustworthy, because I need to get those things or have those things get done. And again, a lot of things is learning by doing. You can't. It's all about expectation setting and communication as well around that point. Yeah, so that's something to consider. Third is automation. Automating routine tasks. You can use like scheduling software. My wife and I use scheduling software in our private lives to really, make sure that we don't miss things. And it could be like birthdays or whatever it is. Yeah, we just use various software to really automate our tasks. We set up certain filters. Things are already automated in our programs, like my Todoist, email, so Gmail, and our company emails. Lots of things are already automated to reduce that likelihood of errors and to really save some time. And then ultimately, and this is number 4, this is a big one, is eliminating those non-essential tasks. Because you got to focus on your high priority tasks so you can save time and increase your productivity. And this is a great example. I can tell you so many times that in my professional life where I've gotten emails from people who are screaming and yelling and, oh, this is important and that is important and this comes in and that comes in. And then ultimately, depending on how you get things done, how you've built a rapport with individuals within your company, wherever you are, whatever scenario, sometimes certain tasks just disappear. And I'm not saying that's what you need to do. I'm saying you need to be able to evaluate those kind of things, those non-essential tasks. Sometimes somebody else thinks something is important, but then you got to communicate that that's not important for your schedule, have that quick discussion, set priorities straight, and then move on from there. Those are the 4 areas regarding time-saving techniques. Now, time management tools, like I said, I use Todoist as a to-do thing, but you can also use calendars, like I said, schedule appointments and deadlines and other important events using a calendar like Google or whatever, is out there. I'm not a big Google fan, but sometimes we're all bound to some big tech, but that's what it is. Use an alarm clock that can remind you of deadlines or signal the end of like a work session if you've clunked out something. Timers are a great way to track how much time you spend on a task in an effective manner. I've done things in the work environment where we've used Excel for certain things and it's just bonkers, but yeah, timers is one thing you can do. And another thing, like I said, is planning software, project management tools, organize tasks, set those deadlines, track your progress in your Outlook, in whatever tool your company's using or however you work in your personal life. Those are a couple tips around time management tools. And then staying on track is my next point. You got to review your progress. Regularly review. That's what's going to help you stay on track. That's what's going to help you make those necessary adjustments to your time management plan. Like I said, I do that several times during the course of the day, and then I adjust as my goals and objectives are either met or they skew off and I need to adjust. Third, stay motivated by achieving goals. Reward yourself. That's what I do. Once I achieve certain goals, I reward myself. And that can be in any manner. It sounds a little odd, but once you kind of get into this mindset, you're going to understand that, and it's going to help you maintain that productive mindset. And then ultimately, celebrate success. Celebrate when you close a project. Celebrate when you hit milestones, whatever that is, a meeting deadline. Just it helps you really maintain motivation, helps you maintain a positive outlook for achieving something and really, really making progress. So those were my main points that I had in my notes regarding time management, mastering priorities, just a little bit to spur your thought after we talked about sleeping and how much time. And today I mentioned several times, time is a finite resource. It is such an important asset. So that process of planning and organizing your time effectively and efficiently so that you can achieve those goals and the objectives you have in life to make progress, to define your own success. That is what's going to be important. And that's why I really wanted to point this out, because it's, like I said at the very beginning, it's all about your personal productivity. It's about reducing your overall stress, that quality of that work you deliver, the quality of the work that you create and that you do, and essentially in your personal life, that quality that it creates when you manage your time effectively. And that doesn't mean you need to be a little machine or robot back to back. That's not what I'm saying. Let's just spur some thought here in regards to to utilizing our time better. So that being said, guys, I really encourage you to implement some strategies for you. What works for you doesn't work for me, and vice versa. Just try out different things, see how it works. You'll change and adapt strategies over time. That's just how we are as humans. As tools come out, things change. We used to do a lot in SharePoint back in my early career days before like Slack and all these, MS Teams and whatnot. Now things are very different in the professional environment. But again, it's a skill that you can always improve and become better upon. Hit me up. Subscribe if you like this. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button. Follow if you're on Spotify or whatnot. Share this with family and friends. Give me some feedback, guys. Hope you have an amazing day today. That being said, stay dedicated, motivated, committed all day, every day.